Hello, all of you risk takers and truth seekers to podcast live the battlefield. Today we're gonna investigate the one of the worst scams ever. Somebody who played not just emotions, but promised miracles, promised so much to the people for last 2 decades. In that process, he earned $175 million preying on a poor people, ordinary people. And this podcast, ladies and gentlemen, Live the Battlefield, stands for all of you who are being taken advantage of. And I will not allow this. So let's go start with this gentleman called Patrice Runner. In a world of quick fixes and miracle medicines, you need to know that dark underbelly grows. As a helpers and heroes, individuals like this guy, Patrice Runner, prey on the weakest. They are manipulators and deceivers, targeting old, insecure, and desperate people. People who will be promised the wealth, health, and happiness. But what they give them? They give illusions, plunging their victims into financial and emotional ruin. Patrice Runner, a so-called psychic, orchestrated one of the worst frauds of the previous 2 decades, scamming over $175 million from the poor. I want you to put this in perspective. $175 million from the poor. This guy wake up every day in the morning and said, I know I'm doing wrong, but if they're never gonna catch me. In the meantime, he lied to millions of people, promising the wealth, health, miracles, and everything what people need to with the desire. We're going to learn how modern villains can portray themselves as a beacon of hope while betraying their victims as we unravel his deception and its devastating ramifications. But before we continue, let me just share with you and welcome all of you to my podcast, Live the Battlefield. I'm the hero you never knew you needed. My name is Bekes, and I spent 1,800 consecutive combat days in a war for democracy. As well, I'm the Guinness World Record holder in continuous audio live broadcasting on duration of 55 plus hours. On top of this, my world was all about investigations in intelligence and human intelligence interrogations. I interrogated the high crime figures. I interrogated the spies. I interrogated all those people who took advantage from the ordinary, honest people. Need to start this story with the Patrice Runner. So today's episode of this podcast will be, as well as I investigate other people in previous, you can check down in the comment section below all the episodes I done before. So this is not just a structured podcast. Every my podcast, it's fact-based. It's not opinion. Same goes with Patrice Runner. This guy, at the end, he ended up in prison. But for the 2 decades plus, he was taking money from all of you guys. Maybe some of you will have some type of the closure of this. Maybe not. But my job, it is to learn from these cases, from the many of these public speakers, coaches, gurus, who are actually lying to you. And I know they're lying to you for the one simple reason, because I interrogated many of those smart guys who took advantage. And needless to say, I am the business owner. But Patrice Runner, we need to start with one simple question. It's a lady in question. Who is Maria Duval? And the story starts like this. Maria Duval, she's very intervened into the Patrice Runner life. Her husband of nearby dentist vanished from the Saint-Tropez, France in 1977. We have the police, helicopters, a crowd combed the coast without success. Then suddenly, out of the blue, Maria Duval, an amateur psychic, offered to help after hearing about the case in the press. She requested the missing woman's birth date, a recent photo, and a map. After superimposing the image on the map, she let the pendulum swing until it reached a precise spot. Usually police, that's a red flag, but in those days, they needed help. The missing woman was found where Duval expected after a search. Now, this narrative boosted Marie Duval's popularity through Europe and abroad, and the legend is born. Needless to say, that from Italy to Brazil, tabloid praised her clairvoyant talents, helping find up to 19 missing individuals, predicting elections results, interesting, and benefiting from stock market prediction. The lady, she saw the future. She saw everything. Companies and politicians reportedly waited in line to learn their fate. Now, there's a rumors, they say that she found Brigitte Bardot lost puppy. Although the report was never proven, the actress helpers denied, so she didn't found it. Maria actually profited from all of these stories, regardless of being good or bad. But let us put this in perspective. She made money. Of course she did. You think she found people around and helped them just free of charge? On those days, there were no social media platforms like today, and the news was spread through newspapers' ads. Today we have X, TikTok, and amazing media experts who knows all. There's so media experts there. We need to connect her with Patrice Runner. This is the guy who in late 1970s was 11, and he lived across the 7 seas and 7 mountains, or 7 oceans. When he moved in with his mother, he saw their financial issues. His father moved away years before, but the guy, he paid alimony regularly. Now, after seeing his mother, Runner only wanted to get rich and avoid her sorrow. Of course, what son wouldn't do this? Newspapers and magazines ads enticed young Runner. Well, basically, he was seduced with the power of media. He saw that this works for him. Then he was, of course, naturally drawn to advertising, emotional intensity, limited word choice, and basic language. And legend is born. Now, some ads promoted new watches and other gear, while others promoted memory, weight loss, and reading speed services. If you think that I was spared in communism from this, no, we were not. Particularly when we got to democracy in 91, we got all this garbage, literally garbage, all these lies in newspapers, they see in the future, called the 0800 number. It's only like $10 per minute, but the guy behind the screen somewhere, he sees the future. And guess what? You sucked into this. My mom, she was. Now, like today, we have experts on social media. They sell all your problems are gone with the money, of course. You just go on the internet. You have a problem, there's a solution for you. That's the problem you need to start understanding. There is no blanket solution for the problems. Every individual have their individual problem. It needs to be treated as based on symptoms. What we have today, a lot of these gurus, and I'm admiring them. Most of them, they're falling in, from the stars down amongst the ordinary people. I don't like seeing people take advantage, but when you have the problem, and if you go to some all these, kumbaya meetings where the guy says has a solution for all of you, he doesn't have. Because let's go say 100 people walk in one room and there's a public speaker who says, I have a solution for all of you. That's a lie itself. Every of them is a liar. And I'll tell you why. Because in that room can be 100 different personalities, 100 different educational levels. Maybe someone is academic, someone doesn't have the school, somebody speaks English, someone doesn't speak English, somebody is an executive, somebody is just a security guard. A list goes on. You can't apply this. This is when you go to GP. GP says, tell me, what is your problem? So look for the symptoms. I say, okay, those symptoms matching this possible medical condition, and this is a treatment. Seriously, he was seduced, Patrice Runner, with these ads. And that's where the story began, with the title, Most of people are too busy making living to make any money. That is the title he was seduced. Most people are too busy making a living to make any money. Runner started his first mail order business selling how-to books and weight loss pamphlets for $80 at age of 19. If you're on a TikTok being 19 years old expert, that's considered you too old. You should be 14 years old, know everything. Patrice left University of Ottawa to study copywriting a few years earlier and began a Montreal mail order, sunglasses and camera business. That's a very lucrative business. In those days, you order by mail, yeah, I sent you, I didn't arrive, but I don't know where it is. The power of captivating copywriting helped Runner turn his childhood curiosity into a multi-million-dollar business and career. Guys, I want you to understand something very important. When you go on the internet and you buy something, when I go on, let's say on Amazon, this is not paid commercial. I see the product, I see the reviews, I see delivery, and if I don't like it, I can return. In those days, Duval was promising, together with Patrice. Maria Duval and Patrice, they are promising things, and that's where the dynamic duo was born. Running and Duval mentioned Maria Duval in the early 90s. Runner says a French national, he comes to Europe with his then girlfriend in June 1994 to see Duval and sign North American license. He claims to have found her number in a phone booth white pages. This is the lady who found allegedly Brigitte Bardot puppy, and all these politicians were standing in line to hear the fate of hers, right? So Patrice Runner realized he can do something with Duval, and he went there to find her, but he said he found her number in the white pages. Duval enjoyed hosting Patrice and his girlfriend in her peaceful Calais home. Now, Duval revealed several of these couple secrets to Runner's then girlfriend during the psychic reading, such as that Runner lost her father when she was 6. Runner claims he and Duval reached an arrangement before year's end to use her image in North American direct mail commercials. Why not? Duval is a famous psychic and Runner needs credibility. Basically, they are same sort of people who saw opportunity to make what? Money! I have credibility, you have the vehicle, let's go put together. So what Runner did, he advertised her psychic abilities in print across the US and Canada through so-called infogest direct marketing. And we all love to read astrology predictions. Who doesn't? How many times I remember in the 90s when I was in the military, there was no internet, it's all sort of these things. And we were on night shift working, and between interrogations, we opened the newspapers from the day before, and first thing you look in astrology, what the star says. Unfortunately, I'm a double Virgo, so I have some type of OCDs and all these things. And every time when I open, I say, oh my God, I'm going to get the money. I need to play the lotto. I'm going to be healthy and healthy. No, that's what a Runner did with Duval. Duval, she's a famous psychic, and she didn't say to him, listen, don't do this, don't do that, be careful. No, do it. Why? Because she's got paid 5 years per year, 5% of all sales in royalties. Runner said, you can't get someone's attention by writing, and eventually, after a few minutes, the person sends a check to get a product to an address from a company they never heard of. He profited from North American psychic services. In 1990s boom and commercialization, and why not? All best things and about healthy food, exercising and lifestyle comes from North America. And I do remember as a kid, we saw Jane Fonda dancing in these wool warmers, the woolen socks, and we think to myself, my God, these people in America, they have the woolen socks, they must be healthy, because I hated my mom, she was knitting them in every winter. We have no choice. In the US, Maria Duval let us pave the way for a psychic services industry worth over $2 billion. Doesn't matter, Runner, he knew it, he's lying, but he put her image of Duval. InfoDigest direct marketing sent letters to people, mailboxes with ads, combining Runner's writing with European colleagues. All of them were typewritten, or maybe handwritten but photocopied by Maria Duval, seeking money for lottery numbers, astrological readings, and fortune telling. And people always will go for that bite. Some letters encouraged the recipients to buy magical items, while others asked them to send family photos, fingerprints, or hair strands in green envelopes to the psychic for special ceremonies. It said, once this envelope is sealed, only I can open it with Duval's photocopied signature. Stay here for the second. Are you really that desperate that some guy or some woman across the globe says to you that this person, Duval, will open for you. Famous psychic is going to read for you. It doesn't work that way. The both of them, they are fraudsters. Well, Runner is a bigger fraudster. We're going to find out why. Respondents occasionally receive mail or crystals. So they get something in return, some cheap thing, who knows what it is. Sometimes they got lottery or fate numbers. However, over 100 letters demanding more money arrived within months. Now, eventually, Runner earned around $175 million from 1.4 million US and Canadian customers from 1994 to 2014. If you have a special bottle of bubbly you've been saving to celebrate the great news, now it's time to open. His company wrote in a 9-page letter to thousands of customers. The message promised tremendous change and improvements in your life in exactly 27 days. Imagine that mind, that sick mind who says this, playing with people's emotions. Now, of course, people were asked to RSVP and send only $50 for mysterious talisman with the power to attract luck and money. And of course, guide to my new life with lottery numbers. Older and sometimes poor people reacted to Maria Duval ads and messages through North America and Europe. They sought change, they sought salvation and wealth through astrology, psychic and fortune telling. There's a true story about this, and I want you to listen to this very carefully. In December 98, 17 years old, Claire Ellis drowned in an English river. A Maria Duval note was found in her pocket. Ellis' mother told the newspapers that her daughter talked with Duval and bought charms and pendants from him and her in the weeks before her murder. Ellie's mother blamed Duval for her daughter's erratic behavior. These things just shouldn't be allowed, mother told reporters. We received letters from this woman months after Claire died. In the early 2000s, numerous people worldwide complained that Duval's letter deceived them. Social media users debate this issue in several groups. And of course, that's where the problem starts. This girl, this poor girl, she believed that she has a contact with Duval, Maria Duval, and of course, we say Duval because Patrice Runner, he was portrayed that way. Who knows what letters she was getting and how much money she gave. Eventually, she lost her life. In October 2004, Windsor, Ontario police reported mail fraud complaints operated by Maria Duval had been received by numerous Canadian law enforcement agencies. Of course, always have a journalist, global investigative journalists like in Jay Shetty case and other ones, and law enforcement authorities have sought Duval for years. So journalists, they know they can do more than police at the beginning. She was accused of being a parody to deceive Runner and his family lived in France, Switzerland, Spain, New Zealand, and other countries. Now, despite media and law enforcement coverage of Operation Duval, thousands of customers received letters and paid for services. This is an interesting fact. With $23 million in 1 year, the Runner letter businesses was most profitable between 2005 and 2010. Runner finally achieved financial success after years of trying. However, a 2014 US civil probe into company Duval letters began. He doesn't know this, but in US they start digging into this. The US Department of Justice issued a lawsuit notice. In 2014, a US postal inspector found personal letters, hair lengths, palm prints, family photos, and unopened green envelopes addressed to Duval, carried to a New York Christine facilities and disposed in dumpster, according to court records. The US authorities believe Runner's numerous travels were a way to avoid detection and transfer money from his most lucrative enterprises, the Maria Duval letters. And subsequently, he is arrested. Finally, people know he's arrested. He's a fraudster. In 2018, US federal government confirmed case and charged him with 18 offenses. However, in December 2020, extradition negotiation led to Runner handcuffing him in Ibiza. Can you imagine this? The guy's in Ibiza actually. So he has a little team there, virtual assistants, whatever you want to call them. They all know it's a lie and they They're deceiving the millions of people. Millions, even one person. It's not the way how you should do it. You should not take advantage of the poor and the less educated people, promising them the health and wealth and who knows what, while you are in Ibiza spending their hard-earned money. You and many others, liars and deceivers. Now, the indictment alleges many. Number one, InfoJet's direct marketing targeted elderly and vulnerable fraud victims with direct mail for nearly 2 decades. Of course, there's a company president. Runner oversaw mail tracking and payment processing. Runner has associates. They used shell companies worldwide, including Destiny Research Center, private PO boxes in various US states. From these mail boxes, postal receivers send letters to Cage services, which handle returns, mail, and payments for direct mail advertisers. New York Cage service staff withdrew money and processed mail for Runner's company. So this is so many people involved now. They know it's wrong. Runner and his colleagues manage the funds in banks worldwide, including Liechtenstein and Switzerland. And why they shouldn't. Runner was making so much money. There's a number of people involved in this. And nobody was saying nothing till trial. And then we have the United States versus Patrice Runner. His trial began in June 5th, 2023. The prosecution listed Runner's attempts to distance himself from the business, including erasing his name from corporate paperwork, forming offshore entities, and directing staff to burn self-written documents. However, the prosecution showed that perpetrated spiritual trinkets and messages were mass printed, probably in China, and had made in China markings removed. Why not? Cheap products coming from China. And that proves that Runner couldn't care less for consumers except the money. He just wanted money. He doesn't care for you like all these gurus. Runner's defense was that psychic services are misleading and hence not a fraud. That was his defense. Imagine his defense says psychic services are misleading and hence not the fraud. So why did you do this in the first place if you know it's a misleading? The government has not shown that Runner intended to deceive or injure his consumers. Runner's attorney told the jury. After nearly a week of deliberation, the jury convicted Patrice Runner of 8 mail fraud, 4 wire fraud, conspiracy to conduct mail and wire fraud, and of course, money laundering. A federal jury found Canadian and French citizen Patrice Runner guilty of conspiracy to commit mail and wire fraud, money laundering, and multiple counts of mail and wire fraud. What he received? He received a 10-year term in the Eastern District of New York for directing a psychological mass mailing fraud scam that took over $175 million from 1.3 million US, and of course, most probably other victims from other states. $175 million from 1.3 million people. Guys, I just want to give one tip. Before you start doing anything in your life, make the due diligence, make the inquiry, and ask the questions. I'm very passionate about these things because this shouldn't happen to nobody. Happen to people around me who've been sucked into this guru thinking, guru behavior. They have solutions for all your problems. You just need to pay the money. It doesn't work that way. Guys, you have everything inside yourself to be the best you can be. So now let me know in the comment section below what do you think about Patrice Runner and Maria Duval and they fraud, what they did over the decades, and have you ever been the victim of such a crime? Let us know in the comment section below. Feel free to subscribe, share, like, and comment. Thank you.